Welcome to Developing Palates. This review recap is brought to you by J.C. Newman. Founded in 1895 by Julius Caesar Newman, J.C. Newman Cigar Company is the oldest family-owned premium cigar maker in America. J.C. Newman rolls its El Rolage, factory throwouts, and Trader Jack's cigars by hand-operated vintage cigar machines at its historic cigar factory in Tampa, Florida. It also hand-rolls its Brick House, Perla del Mar, El Baton, and Quorum cigars at the J.C. Newman Pinza Cigar Factory in Esteli, Nicaragua. J.C. Newman's Diamond Crown, Maximus, Julius Caesar, and Black Diamond cigars are handmade at Tabacalera A Fuente in the Dominican Republic. With its longtime partners, the Fuente family, the Newmans founded the Cigar Family Charitable Foundation, which supports low-income families in the Dominican Republic with education, healthcare, vocational training, and clean water. Learn more by visiting jcnewman.com. Hello everyone, Aaron Loomis here, coming to you from the Ventura Cigar Company studios. With me today is Jiunn, Lou, Seth Geis, and John McTavish. How you guys doing?
I told you guys how, not that you guys are going to know from the last video, but I've been having some shitty experiences the last few days, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, we'll leave it
Sorry
at
to hear that. I have the minimum 16 pieces of flair right now.
All right, so today we are talking about the Señorial 65th anniversary. It's a Perfecto 5 3/4 by 55 ring gauge. It comes out of the Tabacalera de La Palma factory in the Dominican Republic. Wrapper is Dominican Piloto Cubano. Binder is Dominican Corojo. Filler is Dominican Piloto Cubano Ligero, Corojo Viso, and Dominican Corojo Seco. It is blended by Jose Blanco. Price point is $14, and the cigar was released in December of 2014. So with all that out of the way, Jiunn, what was your smoking experience like?
It was overall good. So, I thought it was good. Thank you, Seth. You are a true brotherly for providing me these. Okay, anyways. So smoking through the narrower part of the cigar, natural tobacco, cedar, nuttiness. So that burn line kind of got to the thicker ringish part. I got some really nice baking spices, sweet cherries, which is really great. Retro is like super creamy for me. It had this really nice creamy texture. And I got more notes of the baking spices. Finish, it was like a more like a cedar, but like more of a raw cedar, like spicier, kind of a young cedar. Linger on, and it lingered for minutes on the palate. Strength of body medium. The last 2/3, it was the same. I felt like basically right after that first third ended, that sweet cherries and the overall creaminess of the profile was lost. But what I did recognize in terms of like a good thing is I felt like the profile had this, like, sometimes I would smoke cigars, it could be like a drying on your palate, or instead it could have like a really nice, like slick, oily aspect to the palate. And I totally felt like this is one of those where it's like really oily, slick, oily aspect to the whole palate, like coast to palate, with the same notes of that natural tobacco, baking spices, cedars, nuts. So that was still that was the pickup based from the lost stone fruit notes and the creaminess. In terms of the construction, I thought the burn was very good. Only negative was a couple of quick touch-ups. Not a big deal, but I got to call it out. In terms of draw, no issues. Perfect.
All right, Seth, how about you? What was your smoking experience like?
Yeah, I mean, the first third, really nice, strong spice profile when it started up. It's getting a couple sour fruit qualities, and there's just some leather and herbal qualities present as well. Finish had some graham cracker, coffee, and cocoa as well. Really like medium full body and strength. Cigar's a beast still for its age. When I get into the second third, cigar is pretty similar to that of the first third. Some coffee's been present. The coffee actually is more of a espresso quality now. Strong spices, cinnamon, pepper. There's meatiness present, and also just some leather and earth. Still smoking at a medium full level. And then when I get into the final third, it's showing some leather, espresso, cocoa, pepper, really nice finish. There's some cinnamon characteristics present. There's a little return of that graham cracker, and it's smoking at the medium full level. Construction and draw throughout. Draw was good. Construction, there was moments where it was burning great, then there's moments where it just was a little off, but then it corrected itself. Not really a problem, just one of these things, some really highlights, and then there's some kind of okay moments. What about you, Johnny?
It was good. Thanks, Seth. I'm going to echo a lot of what Jiunn said. There was a nice creaminess, powder cocoa, a really elegant woodiness in the first third, and it had like layers of baking spices and a little bit red pepper flake, which wasn't super intense. The baking spice was pretty intense as the first third went on, which was nice, and then eventually dragged the red pepper flake with it. And then, like others are saying, it was a very medium full experience. I couldn't believe after that long how much oomph this cigar had, how much body this had. All the flavors had a pretty lingering length finish to them. So, you kind of expect it to be mute at this point, but not at all. There was some interesting citrus about roughly halfway through. And then the wood kind of became more of an accent note as the cigar kind of finished up the first third. A little bit of quiet mushroom mustiness. And then, like Jiunn was saying, the last two thirds, pretty rapid departure from the first third. Earthiness kind of took over in the second third for me with a little bit of sweetness. But earthiness kind of took over the fore palate and took over the post-row. And then there was some cedar that came back, kind of took up the middle of the palate, which is interesting. And then as the cigar maybe got about halfway through, there was some baking spices and citrus. So, it's good. It was good. The first third, the second third was good. It was enjoyable, Señorial. Last third was a bit of a drag for me. I rated it as average, just because the last third was really just cedar. So, a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of cedar, but maybe that's lost a little bit of guts because of the aging. I don't know. I actually rated burn and construction on this as average. Started out pretty sharp, and then while I was puffing, it actually went out. So kind of unusual. So relit, then had to relight in the middle third, and had an uneven burn, which I had to touch up. And then I had to touch it up again in the last third, and then I had to do a touch up again in the last third. So not the greatest experience in burn. The weird thing is the draw was perfect. So I don't understand how I can have burn issues and the draw is flawless. It's so bizarre. Aaron, what was your experience like?
Yeah, for me, it started with charred wood, mustiness, mild black pepper, about a half inch in. The black pepper is mellowed, while the charred wood still the dominant part of the profile. Mustiness kind of behind it. About an inch in, the red trail is bringing a more detailed profile of cedar with a little bit of char, some mustiness, and mild black pepper. And then about an inch and a half, more defined cedar kind of makes its way into the mouth draws, and the char is eased up a little bit. Strength for me was mild medium. And then getting in the second third, char picks up on the cedar while the mustiness is right behind it, along with a little bit of faint black pepper. About an inch in, nothing's really changed. Retrohale's got some added creaminess to go along with the charred cedar and mustiness. And then about an inch and a quarter, the char increases, kind of masking most of the cedar. Strength is bumped up to slightly below medium. And then getting into the final third, the char remains heavy, kind of dominates the profile as some of the mustiness is present behind it. About a half inch in, cedar starts to begin to peek out from the char a little bit. And then a little further in, a vegetal note joins the profile. The retrohale shows some of that charred cedar, a little bit of the vegetal note and some mustiness. It's kind of how the cigar finishes out. Strength bumps up to medium. In regards to construction, burn was a little bit wavy in the second half. Ash held on in 1 inch increments. And the draw was perfect, as most everyone has said. Just the right amount of resistance that I prefer. All right, Jiunn, so what were your overall thoughts on the cigar?
So this has had about 4 years since release.
Yep.
So I smoked this when it first came out. Thanks to Seth. Thank you again, Seth. A true BOTL ×2.
Oh God.
Okay. Back when I smoked it, it was 4 or 7 years ago. It was definitely better then. So I think the cigar is starting to kind of, starting to be on the decline. I'm not saying the cigar is not good right now. It is still good, but I kind of felt like between now and the original release, it lost a lot of the creamy aspects of it and the stone fruit qualities. It's almost like 4 years ago, the cigar still had almost very similar notes than what I tasted now, but it was just that much more It was just fuller flavors than what it is now. So, still a good cigar. In the event that someone has some of these left, I think you should definitely check up on these and pull a couple out to the smoking stash.
All right, Seth, what were your overall thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I smoked like early blends of this and then tweaked blends of this cigar before, and then I smoked them right when they came out. I think it was earlier than December. I think it was like summertime or springtime. It's almost I think it's closer to 5 years than 4 years on this smoke.
Okay.
But June's right. I mean, it's definitely lost a little bit from where it was. What's surprising is how much body and strength are still left with the cigar after the years it's been sitting. I mean, Jose loves Piloto Cubano from, Hochi's Piloto Cubano, and this cigar shows that. So if you really like that tobacco, this cigar is kind of going to deliver that. I think it's a really good Dominican Puro. I think it's probably one of the better things to come out of Tabacalera Palma. It's still a solid cigar, but it's funny to say it's still a solid cigar, but it's lost some of those qualities, which you'd expect from 5 years ago. So I enjoyed it. John?
Yeah, John.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. What do you want to say?
No, I was gonna move it along.
Yeah, man. I mean, as a resident Dominican tobacco hater, I actually really enjoyed all of Jose's stuff back in the day. It was all kind of in my wheelhouse, which, again, as a resident Dominican tobacco hater, I found very surprising. This does have a monster amount of body to it, and I really enjoyed that. I wish I would have had the opportunity to smoke this when it was originally released, but thank you, Seth, for the opportunity to smoke these guys before they're gone, because I think it would have been sad if I never had the chance to smoke this guy.
True
Aaron?
brother of the leaf.
True brother of the leaf.
Yeah, for me, this cigar just could not dodge the char, man. I was hoping that it was going to fade away at some point, and some more nuanced notes were going to come out and reveal themselves. So maybe I just got the bad one from the box. Thank you, Seth. But this cigar is pretty tough to find now. We're probably not going to be sitting in the shop. There might be a few laying around, but I think if you see it, you should get it to experience it, because it's been around for 5 years. So smoke it. But for me, I think this is just one that it's going to ride off into the sunset, and I'm just going to let it go and not miss it, I think. So.
Oh, that was sweet.
Yeah. We're being all sentimental on this show, so why not finish up that way? So let's get into the scores. We'll start out at the top. Seth, you gave it a 7.52. Jiunn, you were next at 7.07. John, you gave it a 6.52, and I gave it a 5.30. So, Seth, 7.52.
Totally, I'm totally biased on the cigar, man. So
no, it's still good.
It's a good stick. I enjoyed them. It's kind of shocking how much body the cigar still has after. I keep thinking I'll smoke another 6 months and it's just gonna lose something, but you still smoke it, it's still smoking in terms of body and strength like it did years ago. It's crazy. I don't know what the hell he did to that tobacco. Maybe sprinkled some magic dust on it or something. I don't know.
All right, Jiunn, 707.
Maybe it was rating the cigar is I couldn't help thinking about how good it was or what it tasted like when it first was released, right?
Right.
So if I've never smoked it when I first got released, what I really think about it, what I thought about, and what I jotted down and rated, I'm not sure. But it's still a good cigar. I want to say that to especially Joe White. Thank you, Joe White. But it's still a good cigar, just not at that greatness as it once was.
All right, John, 6.52.
I love that I'm back down in the middle of the pack, cementing everyone's crazy scores, crazy low, crazy high. No, I mean, maybe it would have gotten a higher score if Jose would return my calls once in a while. But no, I'm just kidding.
I should start returning his calls.
Yeah, you should start returning him. Jose's a great guy, and he's an amazing tobacconist and tobacco blender, and 6.2 to me, that's exactly where it should be. I think back in the day it was probably in the sevens, but 6.52 sounds right to me. Aaron?
Yeah, I mean, my 5.30 is right. It was just slightly below average flavor profile. Really good construction. The char was just there. I mean, if you Google char, my review of this cigar is going to be the first thing that pops up. But that was it. I just couldn't get the other flavors to really come out. I was just tasting char the whole way. So, any other final thoughts on this one from you guys?
Thank you, Seth.
Thank you, brother Leaf, Seth.
Yes.
It was, yeah. I mean, you have to remember, like almost 5 years ago, $14 for a limited edition, which is a good price.
Yep.
10-count box. That's a good pricing right there.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, and Jose will still say, going over $20 for cigars out of control.
Yeah.
Much better than that original edition Cuba that John handed out. I'll tell you that right now.
That's right.
Huh?
I don't know. I think that's better than that.
Oh,
Yeah, that is Seth is a high scorer on everything. So
No, that is not true. That is not true. But when I am the high scorer, I am totally the high scorer.
yes, he makes no bones about it. He's not going to be out high scored.
Points. No, he will not have.
he will stay on top.
He
I
will.
will stay on top when I'm on top.
Yeah, he's not the Price is Right $1 higher guy. He's the
I'm off by
$50
a
higher
couple
guy.
grand. But
Yeah.
when I shit on you, I totally shit on you.
Yes, he
That's
does.
true.
All right, if you're just getting to this video on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to us. But also check out the full written review on the website, developmentpalates.com. Follow us on all the social media channels, and you can catch all of our review recaps on podcasts, so iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean. Thank you for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.
Piloto Cubano.